If, if you had to guess, what would you say is the number one factor? Let me think how to say this. The one thing that all cheaters have in common, and I don't mean like something external, you know what I'm saying? So this requires a little like some thought. Like there's something that I think that cheaters and probably a bunch of other people, different categories of people like thieves, gossipers. Okay, yeah, so I'll do that. I won't say thieves, but I'll people that affect your emotions. Well, I guess thieves would be there too. Yeah, they would be. But because there are many different types of thieves. One thing it seems is I seem to understand. Good morning, y'all. One thing I seem to understand though is that a thief in like one area seems to have the same like ability to be a thief in other areas too. You know? It might be just my opinion. I don't know. I wonder if anybody else seen that. I looked at everybody's comments that I could see and try to respond. I'm going to always try to respond. Don't always get to it because life, you know what I'm saying? But I'm so appreciative of everybody, what y'all had to say and everything. And I know some of y'all is my soul tribe. And I'm glad to meet y'all, you know. And back to what I was saying. I think that insecurity. I think it's insecurity. I think it is the main thing that is consistent emotion anyway. That's what I should have said. I should have said, what is the one emotion that is consistent in all cheaters? And it is insecurity. And let me explain how this insecurity, because I know a lot of y'all cheat and probably gonna say no because you're doing stuff. But this is what it is, I believe. Insecurity does not manifest in one way. You know, like we have an idea about what insecurity should be, and if it doesn't look like that, then we think it's not insecurity. It's funny how we could just tell you what something is not a lot of times, but we can't tell you what it is. And many of us have done no research to find out the full extent of what this thing is. Anyway, probably never even looked in a dictionary and seen the textbook definition of insecurity and seen all the other definitions behind it. Insecurity can manifest in needing a bunch of options because they get a feeling of importance. Why do they need a bunch of options to get a feeling of importance? Well, it stands to reason that it has something to do with maybe something when they were younger that they didn't get. It's possible. There are a lot of cheaters that'll tell you that they had a wonderful upbringing. So, and there is some, like, what I was going to say, and I didn't want to say because I felt like, I don't know. I don't know everything, so I didn't want to say it, but I felt like saying, well, then where does the toxic behavior come from? You know what I'm saying? That's what I felt like saying, if not from somewhere early on when they were younger. You know, because it's different. Like, you know how sometimes people will say, well, everybody has their own opinion of this and everybody has their own opinion of that. And many areas that's true, except for when you're dealing with a fact. A fact, your opinion doesn't matter. A fact is an actual occurrence. But when you're talking about things that are relative, meaning depending on the situation, it changes. Depending on the circumstances and the experience, it changes. If you're talking about that, then yeah. One person could have abusive parents that never touched them. Other abuse can come in the form of showing love by giving gifts but never giving hugs. Sometimes trauma can come from never getting any gifts. You know what I'm saying? Even though it doesn't seem likely that if there was an abundance of love there, that someone would develop trauma from not getting gifts. But then again, when those children go out into society and see everybody else getting gifts, and they never had none, that can cause someone to develop something. You know what I'm saying? You can be a child who looks in the mirror and doesn't see an attractive person there, or kids teased them, but their parents gave them all love. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't have to come from parents, but somewhere probably in their childhood, they saw something, experienced something, or went through something, I believe, that led them to believe that they needed an abundance of attention to feel good about themselves. One just isn't enough. Now, if someone has been a cheater and then finds you, and suddenly they're not a cheater anymore, or you believe they have somehow just reformed themselves without going to any therapy, or, you know, what did they do? What did they do to reform themselves? Oh, just met you. Oh, that's all it took. You know, you have to think, like, it's not a knock on you. It has nothing to do with you. There was some issue that was not resolved. That's what caused the person to be the cheater in the first place. How is it that they become not being a cheater and they never resolved those issues? A cheater that is reformed, that has conquered that desire for attention, because that's what it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? Well, sometimes there's always exceptions to the rules. Like, for instance, people that cheat because their spouse doesn't want to fulfill them in the way in which they want to be fulfilled. Well, that's still not totally the spouse's fault, because both people decided to get into that relationship without having all the information. So that's still both people's fault. A guy was telling me a story about a woman he married that was like super religious, I suppose, and she didn't really want to fulfill him sexually in bed. And he stayed with her for a bunch of years, over a decade. And he ended up having a girlfriend. You know, she chose every day to choose something else over him in their marriage union. Some old dated way of thinking or being, or some family tradition or ideas that was passed down to them or to her, that left her with the conclusion that she would not fulfill him sexually, you know, between their marriage union, between their relationship, the way in which he would need to feel wanted, to feel fulfilled in that relationship. She refused. And that situation, I mean, if you care about a person, if you really love and care about a person, you would get out of that situation. You wouldn't just stay with them. But then many people, they stay together and they use the excuse, the kids. Not knowing that the energy that they're generating between each other is destroying the kids. It's much worse than if they separated. Because you're teaching these kids what to do. We're staying together for the kids, even though we can't stand each other and we hate each other. And we have this energy of can't standing each other and hating each other between us that we're probably unaware of. I mean, we're aware of how we feel, but we're not aware that the kids love us so much that they feel everything that we're feeling inside. No, that's not important. What is important is that we stay together for the kids. Is it for the kids? Are they really thinking about the kids? Really? Just something to think about. I wonder about these things. I'm not judging anybody, not condemning anybody, not trying to make anybody feel bad. Just wondering, you know, because it seems like we have the ability to cover up what the truth is underneath what we feel or what we want to be true. And we pass this stuff down generation to generation to generation. And we see the effects, the negative effects of it. And we sit there and we say, oh my God, I don't understand how my kid got this bad. Or our kids act some crazy way for a long time because they don't want to talk or don't know how to talk about what's really on their mind. And then they say, well, my mom doesn't want to help me. I don't know why. My parents don't want to help me. They don't want to do this for me or anything like that. But do you know that for years you have been acting like a straight dickhead to your parents? Like, for years. Do you know that they are human? You know, selfishness has no bounds. None. Inconsideration has no bounds. What we see that we just want to see has no bounds. Even to the detriment of our own selves. You could meet a guy or a girl that's like great for you. Give you a good feeling, make you feel good about yourself. All they want to do is love you. They're loyal to you and everything else. And your ex that treated you like shit, you just leave that person, that good person, after they made you feel good and got your confidence back up. You leave them and go back to the ex. As soon as they say, I've changed. With no evidence, really. And it makes me think, like, why do we lie to ourselves about being done with someone and jump into another relationship with someone else, making them a victim because you know that other person is still in your heart? And you're mad at that other person, so you think you're going to get back at them by destroying another person's heart? And somehow you're going to come out of this being happy, having a good relationship, having a fulfilled life, healed, or, something is going to be better for you in life? No, you've made your abuser your God because you've decided to do exactly what your abuser has done to you. And then you know that person's your God because as soon as they say, I've changed, I'm ready to take you back, you leave the person that loves you and is caring for you and willing to do everything for you and jump back to the person that crushed you in the first place. And you call yourself strong. And you call yourself a boss. And you say all these great things about yourself. Well, really, you're just a person that just stepped on another person's heart and didn't give a shit about that person, while you're calling the person that stepped on your heart trash and a piece of shit and nothing, and you just did the same thing. What do you expect to come to you? I mean, I know there's a lot of people that don't believe in karma. I know there's a lot of people that don't believe in God. But, I mean, have you seen, like, you reap what you sow? Have you seen things come back to people from what they've done? I guess there's no talking to mentally disturbed people about this because they're not going to see it. Or narcissistic people, they're not going to see it. They're not going to accept it. But for those of us that are not that were just extremely hurt and just really needed an outlet, needed someone to love us because we were hurt, the way to do it is not to lie to somebody. The way to do it is not to hide your hand or omit the truth. and say, well, you never asked. That's not the way to do it. Insecurity is the number one factor that leads people to cheat. I'm telling you, people that are not insecure, 9 times out of 10, they don't cheat. Unless there's like some extreme circumstance with the person that they're with. Just you talk to them over and over again. You tell them what you want, and they just don't want to do it. But you're stuck there somehow, where you have to be there. But other than a circumstance like that or similar to that, a secure person, a person that loves themselves, because you got to think about it. A person that loves themselves is happy within themselves. They may not be totally fulfilled. They may not have everything that they want, but they spread the feeling that they feel inside. They want other people to have that feeling. And they're not going to give someone the feeling that they're not harnessing inside of them. People are only going to give you what is inside of them. And potential doesn't matter. Potential does not matter. Because people for you light workers out there, for you empaths out there, I know that you feel the potential in these people. Whether they're friends, whether they're your family, whether they're your loved ones, you feel this potential in them. But the bottom line is, what is the fruit that's being produced externally? That is who they want to be. That's who they want to be. And maybe sometime in the future they will change, but they're not going to change while you're standing there making them feel like it's okay. When they see you leave, they know it's not okay. And even then you have to be careful, because they may only just do it just to get you back. And then you're right back in the same cycle again. You got to love yourself better. You got to put yourself first. You got to stop second guessing what you deserve. And you got to stop accepting scallywags. I was Captain Save-A-Hole for years. For years. Always looking for the potential. Always looking for the broken person, thinking that my love will fix them, will save them, will change them, will heal them. And then I'll be something to someone where they can look at me and say, God loves me, and this person is a keeper. And I don't no longer need to go and look anywhere else. I just want to give all this potential that they see in me. I want to share it with them as they share theirs with me. No, they're not going to say that. They may say it for a minute while you're alone. But as soon as that other attention comes from the other more attractive, or the person that they feel is more attractive than you, or has more than you, or offers more than you, or one of those people that they always wanted to be with, and the opportunity comes and they can't get caught, and they're just like, wow, this opportunity might not ever come again. What do I do? I know what I'm going to do. And matter of fact, I'm going to put myself in a position where they can get me drunk, where I can have an excuse, or my conscience will not be there, so that when I do what I do, I'll think about that later. But right now, oh, that person loves me. They'll always be there. Oh, that person loves me. They're a fool. This is what they're saying. A person that hates themselves and you love them is saying you must be a piece of shit because you love me and I'm a piece of shit. Who is of value that would love someone who's a piece of shit? This is what this person is saying deep down. Cheaters do not like themselves. There's no way they could. After cheating on you, knowing your heart, knowing how good you are, knowing what you have to offer, and doing what they've done, and then have to look you in the face every day, in the eye, and lie to you. There is no way they can feel good about themselves, and there's no way that they can stop cheating, because if they were to stop cheating and just be with you, they would sooner or later have to face the fact of what they did to you. So they've got to start drinking or getting high, or either continue to, sleep around behind your back in order to escape what they've done and who they are. Because at some point they stop feeling guilty and they start feeling shame. Guilt is when you feel like you've done something bad, but without addressing that and being honest and coming out with it, then it transforms to shame. Shame is the feeling that you are bad. You can research this. So once it gets to that point, they're just going to stop liking you. They're going to have something against you. They're going to even start hating you, because every time they look at you, it reminds them of the effed up shit they did. And they don't like to feel that way. So they're going to think that they're going to treat it like you are doing something to them. And sometimes it actually makes them even do more messed up stuff to you. I'm sorry this is going so long, but I just was feeling it like this is real and it's really important. And I'm grateful for those of you that were able to sit through and listen to this, because I went on for a while, but I think some powerful information. And I think that there's a lot of people out there that can relate to what I'm talking about. Now, what's the solution? Love yourself. Be your authentic self. Don't worry about what anybody thinks. Trust God. Boss up. If you know what I mean, go ahead and face that pain. Go ahead. I'm telling you, listen, it's like this with me. I don't care if it's my family. I don't care who it is. If you're causing me pain, if you're not appreciating me, if you're making me feel less than what I am, if you want to take away my feeling of confidence in myself, if you want to destroy my peace, I'm gone. I don't care if I love you to death. I'll get over it. I'll heal from it, because I know I'm on the side of right and I know God is with me. I will heal, and I will eventually find the person that will give me everything that I seek. How won't I? I'll tell you how I won't. By staying with the people that I have no business being with. Whether it's family, friends, or relationship. There are blockages to your happiness. Some of them are even happiness haters. It's just a reality, and you are strong enough to overcome it. You are strong enough to get past it. You are strong enough to be the victor in this situation. You just have to not give up. Believe in yourself. Treat people good. Give God his props and cultivate that relationship. And be your authentic self, regardless of what anybody thinks. And I guarantee you do those 3 things, and eventually everything will work out for you. You'll see. I'm telling you, I'm going to be a living example of it, if I'm not already. All right, so that's my time. I done went 30 minutes. This is crazy. I hope I didn't make it too long, because I feel like there was some very important things on here. And I hope that you were able to join me on this journey. I love y'all. I love y'all comments. I love y'all feedback. And I hope to connect with y'all soon. Y'all have a good day.